Hey baking besties, and welcome back to my channel, Sweet Indulgence Custom Cakes and Catering, where we talk about all things sweet, business, baking, recipes, and of course cake decorating. So we are doing a mini 4-inch cake today, which is 4 layers tall. When you're doing a tall cake, sometimes it can be a little wobbly, so I like to use a dowel in the middle of the cake to give it a little bit of structure and hold it steady. Once I have that first layer of buttercream on, I'm going to remove my dowel and pop it in the freezer for a few minutes, pull it back out once it's firmed up, and now we're going to go in with our final coat of buttercream. In my opinion, one of the keys to really getting a nice smooth finish on your buttercream is starting with a nice smooth buttercream. A good rule of thumb to follow is to make sure that you whip your buttercream with your paddle attachment on low for a couple minutes before you use it. This will help to get all of the air bubbles out. Once my cake is nice and firm, and that's when I really go in, get a little more aggressive, and smooth it out. Now, here's another tip. I take a paring knife after having my cake in the freezer for a few, and I cut that excess buttercream off top, and this helps me to get those nice sharp edges. This is where I really go in with my metal scraper and make sure it's nice and smooth. Now it's time for the fun part. I'm going to start my ruffle border using a 402 Wilton tip. I'm also going to do that for some draping of buttercream around the top of my cake as well. I'm going to do some drop lines here, which I really don't love doing, but they look so beautiful. And this really just depends on how thick you want your lines to be, but you're going to use a round tip for this. Now I'm going to pull out my favorite tip, which is a 2D, and I'm going to layer right on top of those ruffles with another trim. I also will pop my cake in and out of the fridge when necessary just to firm up my buttercream. If your buttercream is too soft, you will just start to drag your buttercream along. I'm going to use my same 2D tip, and I'm going to do my top trim as well. You kind of want your top to match up with your bottom. Once I'm done with my top trim, I'm going to grab my next tip, which is a 4CS. Now, I'm using this around the outer layer of the top cake. It's almost like to close up that gap. And then I also do the same thing on the bottom just to layer it. Again, we're going to match the top with the bottom. I'm also going to use that same tip and go around the inner part of the cake just to give it a third layer of trim. I know that's a lot of buttercream, but guess what? Vintage cakes are meant to be dramatic. I also added some gold pearls to the top, which are edible and gorgeous, always adds a touch of elegance. I hope you like the cake, and if you are enjoying this content, please like, comment, share. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.